And we're going to talk about the state of the church. Not today, because we have a lot of church leaders, men, black men, who are very afraid, have resources, but they are afraid. And when I say afraid, this is the advice that they give men like me. Do you know what happened to the Black Panthers? Do you know what they did to the black men in the 60s? And the answer is yeah. Because we was living at a time where we had the leader of the FBI, the most top cop in the world, was actually a gay liberal racist, J. Edgar Hoover. So when you talk about taking people's names off of buildings, that's the one that needs to be coming down, because he said it himself. The biggest threat to white America, or the biggest threat to America, is an educated black man and a Messiah type figure. This is why they got rid of Trump. They praise Trump. Trump is a Messiah type figure to whites. We don't have Messiah type figures. We had, in the 60s, and I'm going to just name just the four, JFK, John F. Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Bobby Kennedy. And if you look at the Black Panthers, and if you look at black men in general being shipped off to Vietnam, they literally was doing a population control, killing us purposely, destroying our future economically, making sure we don't have a future. And this is the remnants that we're living in right now. And when you talk to somebody that lived through that time, that's still trying to leave something here for his children's, they're basically are the biggest sellouts known to man. And when I say the biggest sellouts, because we do not have an agenda. We do not have leadership. We do not have guidance. We do not have skin in the game, and we do not have conversations of righteousness, because when you talk to a black man, a seasoned black man, he's going to tell you to get in line with them, and hopefully you can meet the right person that could approve what you're doing, that could greenlight your project, that will actually help you become who you are. And we know without shadow of a doubt, for that to happen, you have to be a sellout. You have to be a sellout. Bob Johnson, one of the most notable black men in black media, is a sellout. And I say this by default because when he sold BET for $2 billion, he was expecting BET to expound, but he sold it to Viacom, who owns a monopoly of entertainment, VH1, MTV, CBS, Channel 9 in LA, and other programs. Now, Viacom is a multimedia conglomerate. And this is what they say when it comes to the black man in entertainment. You ready? Just keep them entertained. And this is why they split BET up to BET Her, BET 1, BET 2. And all they do is play Martin, the Parkers, and Friday. Keep us laughing. Keep us entertained. When it comes to news with black issues, it does not exist. It does not. Now, one thing that we have to really understand, when you live your life in rear view mirrors, if you ask me, Glove, what's going on today? And I sit back and say, man, when I was in high school, man, I was the man, man. When I went to Bakersfield, man, I was the man, man. When I played at Harvard, I was the man, man. When I went to Culver Stockton, I was the man, man. When I finished my college career at Central State, played in the Capital City Classic, man, and had 20 tackles against Virginia Union. And okay, that means that I ain't got nothing going on right now. So one thing that we got to do is stop and reject our older compadres and really embrace them, because maybe they never had a brother and that can actually be real with them, because they, for whatever reason, think that they can just create magic in a bottle. The world is different now. The church is not where you go get instructions. The church is right now, it's just like entertaining. Now, if you turn on KJLH Sunday morning, before I go to church, it's on. And I'm listening to the preachers. And it's a preacher out here that got a speech impediment. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't understand what he's saying. But he just talking and entertaining. And then you have Faithful Central right here in Inglewood, Kenneth Omer. And I'm listening to, Dr. Kenneth Omer speak. And I'm sitting back saying that's the same message and the same word that you've been having for the last 25, 30 years. Seriously, because you have to entertain older black people. See, younger black people, our attention span is like this, and we could challenge anything that you say. This is why you tell a youngster some bull crap and they Google you. And if they can't find that, they don't believe nothing that you're saying. So thank God that you can at least, find something on us to validate what we was. But right now, we got an assignment from God, and that's to basically liberate God's people and to create an humanitarian movement of morals to basically change the game, to balance the scale. So basically, if you got a teeter-totter, and if you guys remember, some of you, youngsters don't remember none of this, but I remember, if you somehow find a way to get on the middle of that teeter-totter, regardless of who's on it, you can displace your weight to balance it. And that's who we are. We're the balance in the middle. Because clearly we are the good economic. We are the masters when it comes to humanism, because we are the most advanced from our 9 series DNA. So when you talk to a baby boomer and you try to talk to them about something that you're trying to do, they just assume that you're on the same destructive path, the same destructive road with no assignment. And when they ask you to present something to me to let me see what you're trying to do, don't let them, because they don't have the talent. They got the resources, but for some strange reason, they don't have the talent. That's how it works. So this is why talented, gifted people have to be patient. Talented, gifted people have to sit down, learn, and understand, because we can actually learn what they know and supersede them, because there's nothing that they can do to compete with us because they don't have talent. They just got resources. It's just like the kid that can't hoop, takes the ball away because he can't hoop and he don't want nobody to play. I remember the first time that I dunked the summer going into the 9th grade. It was getting dark and we was trying to dunk, and I stuffed one. And soon as I dunked, boom, the dude who ball was got mad and said, "Man, we got to go." Oh, okay, because we don't want to celebrate this moral victory. But that's fine. Go. So I was at John Muir that next morning hooping before, anybody got there, making sure that this is, what I could do. So what I'm saying is, don't let them discourage you, and understand that your talent makes them very uncomfortable. Because when you sit back and say, well, you know what happened to them? You know what happened to the Panthers? You know what happened to my friend? Okay, yeah. Because when you are someone and they are the ones fixing your plate and they're feeding you, yes, they will kill you. But if they don't make you, they can't break you. So what I'm saying is, it's time for the ones that got the resources to somehow cut some contractual type deals with the individuals with the talent, because what's going to happen is your project will never get off the ground, because you playing the game and the people that you're trying to connect with don't want you to grow. They want your ideas because you are in direct competition. So I'm going to say this, the talented people. It's time for us to start taking people's gifts, because fear will stop you from utilizing your gifts and from being who you are supposed to be. And some of us have no fear, because if you are fearful, you will never have freedom. If you are fearful, you will live in bondage. If you are fearful, when somebody comes to you and asks for advice and you don't know what God has put on their heart, it is not on you to sit back and put them in bondage. Well, I don't know, man. You gonna make them mad, trying to talk about the 13th Amendment and freeing black people on a federal level. Well, let's challenge it, because we ain't scared. There is no Messiah type figure in the black community. If we all stand up, they can't kill us all. They are waiting and anticipating the systematic system of racism to keep us controlled And they are utilizing our baby boomers and our seasoned humans, our fathers and grandfathers, to keep us in bondage by continuing to have the conversation with them. Now, history repeats itself. Now, maybe if you are from the baby booming generation, maybe you have a defect, and we're going to have to assume that you do. So you are not as smart as you think you are when it comes to making changes. You got resources. OK, usually the ones with resources don't have the talent. If that was the case, you would have player coaches. If that was the case, you wouldn't have players coaching in the NBA that didn't play in the NBA. With that being said, you have 30-year-old coaches winning Super Bowls who never played a down of college ball in their lives. If that was the case. So it's a big difference. And the science of Willie Lynch is real. The science of Willie Lynch is real. It's not just about, alpha slaves and big alpha males versus, beta males. It's age, weight, looks has a lot to do with it. So when somebody tell you the only thing you got on me is your age, then you make sure you tell them, OK, and I got talent. Because if you had talent, you would go ahead and spearhead it. But since you are wanting to be a part of the people in high places, all the people that make the propositions are unseen. OK, so you basically taking the same handbook out of the oppressor's handbook to basically destroy your people and never let us get off the ground because we are not uplifting you and your narrative. And you don't even have a narrative, because if you did, you would have an assignment. And this is where a better America, a better Black America come in at. We have an assignment. We have an assignment to stand up and look fear right in its face and not be afraid, because God did not create the spirit of fear. Fear will have us living in bondage. Fear will have a person seeming like they're going to help you, but yet they're enslaved. And only an enslaved person could help you be enslaved. So we have to be free. So never before in American history, I've never seen a baby boomers or in a generation even try to break the code publicly, or even have conversations about what changes can be made, because that generation voted for the 94 crime bill. That generation voted for the battle ram and the destruction of our community. That generation supported any and everything that actually destroyed our community. So why would we still allow them to continue to drive us to hell? Because fear will send you to hell. Because fear will stop you from praying. Fear will take away your courage. Fear will silence your voice. Fear would have you tell another man that you really don't know what God has for him. You know what happened to everybody that tries to do something for Black people. Say, so I wouldn't do that and I'm not going to prove it. OK, that's fine and all. But somebody has to do it. We're sitting here in the world looking at a mass distraction. You turn the news on, all we seeing is bombs and this war of images all over the world. But for whatever reason, come back 2 years ago, we saw the images here in this country. It wasn't a war going on, but the destruction and the effect of it was just like it. And what happened? They moved the operation overseas. And this is what our politician was trying to tell us. You look at Antifa, Proud Boys. These are global white supremacists that's been having issues. So when they came to LA in these United States of America, both of them, they pick a side. This is why when Trump blew the opportunity to connect with the American people and he told the Proud Boys to stand by and stand back, the American people are basically saying then he should have lied and been manipulative and made it seem like, that does not exist. But for me, it showed me that stand by and stand back, because the Democratic Party has went full throttle on ending America, and they are with Antifa, Black Lives Matters, every liberal group, the Jewish Americans, foreign nationals. Their whole purpose is to bring down America. Now the chaos is global now. And we're sitting back saying, wow, they doing all of this to distract Black America from realizing that they have superseded the biblical prophecy and that we need to be seeking Black American independence as we speak. As